Okay, let's take a look at these new changes that's happening. So first we have some buff to Sylvan and Doris. Yeah, these are some pretty good damage buffs. So Doris is already the most important hero in Doomslayer, but that's only because of her exclusive rune effect. And now they are also buffing her base form, and that's making her better. And Sylvan, don't know how to pronounce this. She's also a pretty good hero in Doomslayer, but a lot of Doomslayer main don't like her. Mm, I don't know why, but I'm not a Doom main, so I just assume they're right. And her getting some buff is definitely good for Doomslayer. So next, Themis is getting buffed, and this is pretty good because in case you don't know, Themis's ultimate ability called Final Slash. So her first half of her ability is a single target, and if she gets a kill, she will then do AoE damage. And if the AoE damage gets a kill, the AoE damage will do it again. So it's very important for Themis to get a kill on the first part of her ability. So this damage increase is gonna help her a lot. I don't think it will make Themis good in late game Valianter comp, but it's better than nothing, and it will definitely help you early game. Okay, so Merlina is also getting some buffs, and that's pretty good for her. She's underwhelming as well, and Portia is getting a lot of buff. Like that's a lot from 400 to 800. That's double the damage. So that seemed to be very impactful because Portia is already having more attack than the normal heroes because she has. Oh, okay, it's this one. When Portia receives healing, the excess healing will convert to attack, and the total current amount cannot exceed 40% of her own attack. So, so this one is just like Catherine's, but the good thing about Catherine's is Catherine will apply it to all your units, where Portia is just herself. But she getting a big damage increase alongside with this effect, it might make Portia really good. But the problem with Portia is Ethereal's already has really good heroes. So even though with this buff, she also might not make into the list. It's not guaranteed that she's gonna be good after this buff, although this buff looks really big. Okay, next Katrina. Yeah, Katrina also got buffed. So she's already really strong, and now she's a lot better. So a lot of people are confused why Katrina is getting buffed. So I'll tell you my theory, like why they are buffing these heroes. So basically, they want to buff all the heroes in here. So they are the better heroes in the devs' opinion. So they are more rare and they are stronger. At least the devs think they are stronger. So and they also want to buff the new heroes. So the new heroes are heroes like Navi, Mavis, and Doris. So basically, the heroes that are released after the first batch of heroes coming out when the game release. Like Merlina is also a new heroes. So yeah, so you can see the pattern. So Doris got buff, so Merlina got buff, Portia got buff. She's also fairly new, and all the synergies are fine except for Glorian. So in Glorian, there's Lila. She's in this list. Yeah, and then they want to buff Navi because Navi the only new heroes in the Glorian synergy. So for Avengers, they could buff Mavis, but there's also Illyrian. So they buff Illyrian because Illyrian is underperforming, Mavis is not. And for Glorian, they want to buff Navi. But I believe some people with consciousness tell them, no, you cannot buff Navi. Choose someone else. They're like, but we're gonna to buff new heroes like Portia, and we're gonna buff Navi. They're like, please do not buff Navi. Just buff anything else. And they say, fine, let's buff Marina. So they buff Marina. Yeah, that's my theory of why they are buffing these heroes out of all the others. It's not because these heroes are weak, because they they are buffing the heroes in these categories. So I think the takeaway is in this game, the dev wants certain heroes to be stronger than the other ones, although they're in this. So like I'm not complaining or anything. So it makes sense if you say the legendary heroes are stronger than the epic one. But I think in this game, like this one, they are legendary heroes, but like they are the lower tier legends. They're like the common legendary heroes, and these they are the like rare legendary heroes. And for heroes like Navi, they are the ultra rare legendary heroes. And yeah, and there's also the celestial and demon heroes. So yeah, the main takeaway is this game is not meant to be like all the heroes are the same power level. Some heroes are meant to be stronger than the other one. I think the dev is trying to do this. So let's move on to Lily and Lila. So Lily and Lila also got buffed. So Lily and Lila is another situation. They are already very strong, and they're even more, stronger now. They can provide more protection to your team. And Marina is also getting buff. It's a damage buff, but Marina is mostly used for her utility, like that stun effect and her effect of increasing the limit of Navi's passive. And next, there's Bastet and Friends. Their buff is their damage will increase up to 300% for each stack of crow the target has. And that's a pretty good and it's flavorful. I kind of like this buff because it's synergistic to the Mystifier synergy. So these buffs are also pretty good for them. They are underwhelming for Bastet and Friends. So in the best Mystifier comp, people are not using them, and now they might use them. Anyway, and then there's Celine and Illyrian. So these two buffs are pretty good. So Illyrian now is a lot better, and Celine's buff is pretty significant. So if you look at them, is their ability will increase by 10% for each unit that died on battlefield. So it's ally or enemies. And that's similar to Janna's ability. So Janna has this one where when any unit on the battlefield dies, Janna increase her attack by 50% up to 20 stack. So this buff is not as significant as Janna's because Janna's is 50% up to 20 stack. So in total, she can increase her attack by 1000%. But this one is like up to 300%. But the thing about Ling is that Celine already has to boost two abilities that boost his damage. When he receives healing, he will gain some stacks of attack boost, and he will gain attack boost and damage boost, and his rune scale will also convert 10% of his healing into attack. So he's already getting this damage boost, and he's getting a Jenna-like effect, like a weaker Jenna effect on top of that. So I think there's a chance that he might become as good as Jenna or even better than her. So yeah, so if you are considering building an Avenger team and you want to buy Jenna in Oracle Shop, I suggest you hold it and wait and see. Because if Sally becomes better than Jenna, then there's no point buying Jenna. There's a lot of better options at that point. So yeah, that's all the changes.